against making life look great and, you know, enjoy it, but let's ask some more questions.
So we're just down at McMahon's Point today, and we have Jerome here with us. Do you want to just maybe tell us, Jerome, what your involvement in mental health is?
Sure. So I left work as a lawyer about a year ago, and since then I've worked on promoting and distributing my self-help book, which is called Wellness Doctrines for law students and young lawyers, which is essentially a survival guide to help those young legal professionals proactively manage and combat any issues pertaining to psychological stress, anxiety and depression that they might face by virtue of being a lawyer. And now I'm sort of working as a consultant to law firms and universities, going out and giving talks and lectures and workshops around this area. And it's stuff that is relevant specifically to lawyers because they have the highest rates of depression and other such ailments as compared to any other professional strand. 1 in 3 lawyers and law students will suffer from depression. 50% of lawyers have suffered from depression at some point in their lives, and 70% of lawyers say they know somebody in law who suffers. So it's quite alarmingly high rates, and it's really important that that is addressed within the legal profession.
And would you say, Jerome, that you have come across different people at schools that are happy to open up? Are there anyone that's happy to share with you what they're going through?
There are some lawyers and legal professionals who will share, and it's really fantastic that they do, because there's still such a significant stigma around mental health issues, not just in the legal profession but in society at large. There was a report done recently that said 86% of people, not just in law but across the board, 86% of people would rather suffer in silence than open up to their boss or their superior about what they're suffering for fear of being fired or passed over for promotion. That's an extraordinary number of people who will ultimately keep their problems to themselves rather than share it. And I don't think that's a healthy approach to be taking. My feeling is that a problem shared is a problem halved, and if you can find the right person to talk to, then it's going to be much better for yourself, not just within the office or the workplace, but in, you know, general life itself.
And the tool of sharing, and you know, that's something that we love doing and promote, to have, you know, the support they're needed. Would you say sometimes it is difficult to maybe reach out by calling a number or joining something, you know, that's not as personal as face-to-face?
Yeah, certainly the idea of calling Lifeline or reaching out to Beyond Blue or even your GP or counsellor can be a bridge too far for a lot of people. It can be a rather intimidating process and something that is a bit too overwhelming to really fathom undertaking. And so because of that, it's really important that you find the right people in your life, your friends or family or trusted mentors or colleagues who will be able to understand what you're going through and offer some level of social or cultural or personal support for you. And if that is a good way for you to then sort of cross that bridge and then talk to a medical professional, then I think that's going to be really important. But the bottom line is that you don't keep it to yourself, that you find the right people upon whom you can rely and seek help.
That, you know, depression is to be the biggest burden in disease by 2020. I guess, yeah, the sheer fact of that if that's forecast for the future, I'd say in order to prevent that from happening would be then to share and to reach out.
Yeah, well, I think it ultimately goes back to the fact that there's still so much stigma about this within the community. I think that if a person has a broken leg, it's a lot easier for the rest of us to appreciate and understand what that person might be going through. Whereas if it's something under the surface and it's something we can't physically see, then it's very hard to be able to first of all recognise, but then really grasp what that person is going through, and then it becomes even harder for the individual themselves to be able to understand what they're going through and then take meaningful action in order to rectify it. And so because of that, and especially since the numbers are growing, or at least the number of recognised cases or diagnoses are growing, then it's hugely important that we do work to reduce the stigma, to get people comfortable talking about what they're going through.
Perfect. Okay, and what do you have plans for the next couple of weeks? I think you mentioned, are you off to Perth soon?
Yeah, I'm going to Perth next week. I've got 2 talks, one for the University of Western Australia and one for the Perth Family Law Practice Association, and I'm going to be talking about the best ways for lawyers and law students in those particular audiences to manage themselves through any kind of stressful environments they might face, how to unwind when you're feeling under the pump at your desk, figuring out the best ways in order to be doing meaningful work, navigating yourself through a significant or tremendous workload if ever you're faced with that, how to deal with the potential for lawyers and law students to self-medicate with alcohol. These are the kinds of things that especially lawyers are dealing with, and other professional strands such as accountants or financial services or medical professionals will deal with similar issues, and it's really important to be able to talk to those people on their level in a language that they understand, and that's what I'm going over to Perth to do.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks, same to you.
If you haven't already done so, I'd suggest that you go to the wellnessdoctrines.com website. You can buy the book there, and you can also hear Jerome's podcast with the Co-op book, and you can see his interview with the ABC. Thanks so much again for your time, Jerome, and we wish you all the best for the future, and we hope to stay in touch with you. If you'd like some other suggestions as well regarding mental health in the workplace, we'll put some links on the Zottie Dottie website, so keep in touch. Cheers, bye.